Welcome to Fantastic Comics Presents. Today we're going to talk about, are comics actually the cheap entertainment out there? Plus, why is Marvel better than DC? All that and more. See you after these videos.
Hi, it's John Romita Jr. at San Diego Comic-Con. Fantastic Comics is the best shop in the world, hands down.
Not to state the obvious, but you yourself are black, African American. I mean, isn't the KKK opposed to your race?
See, I knew you were going to try that. You haven't been listening to me, son. This is the new Klan, okay? Let me show you something.
I know something I won't tell. I won't tell. I won't tell. I know something I won't.
What do you know, huh?
It's just that Injun Joe is ticklish.
I am not interested in death. The only thing that concerns me is the preservation of life. Class is dismissed.
This job would be great if it wasn't for the fucking customers.
Jesus, I'm gonna hear from the boss tomorrow.
Oh, would you loosen up? You'd feel a hell of a lot better if you just rip into the occasional customer.
Why? I don't bother them and they don't bother me.
A liar. Tell me there aren't customers that annoy the piss out of you on a daily basis.
Eat.
She used to say the darndest things. Have rubber bands and bits of string. The kitchen drawers still overflow with these birthday cards from long ago. This recipe for homemade pie she never had the nerve to try. I should throw them all away. But not today. Matchbooks from our favorite place, this Chinatown. Broken faith. Pickle bottles filled with plants, this cuckoo clock we bought in France. The memories I'll never lose. 1,000 things I'll never use. I should throw them all away. But not today. In the bedroom, there's a touch of roses in the air. But when I turn to find her, she's never really there. It must have been the perfume, the one she used to wear. Now some garden magazines and these half-filled jars of jelly beans. Coney Island souvenirs. Music box that no one hears. Umbrella broken in the hall. Oh yeah. And this pillow from Niagara Falls. They should be thrown away. But not today. You know, of all the things I thought she'd take, that bride and groom from the wedding cake. Well, I guess she didn't really care. She left them there, sit and stare like me. They have no tears to cry, just dreams grown old and left to die. They should be thrown away, but not today. In the bedroom, there's a touch of roses in the air. But when I turn to find her, she's never really there. It must have been the perfume, the one she used to wear.
Well, I've been working on a thing. It's sort of like Stummies.
Go on. I like what I hear so far.
It's exactly like Stummies.
And the twist is?
It's a much bigger pill.
I like a lot. Is it ready for production?
Yes, sir. It's ready to go.
Yeah, but have there been any side effects?
Yes, sir. A few side effects.
Well, that's okay. As long as there's no flipper babies, right, Don?
Well, there have been a few flipper babies.
This guy, Todd Gack. I want to bet from him.
Yeah, what bet?
He bet me that Dustin Hoffman was in Star Wars.
Dustin Hoffman in Star Wars? Yeah. Short Jewish guy against Darth Vader? I don't think so.
Yeah, that's what I said.
So the bet was the loser has to buy dinner?
Yeah.
Kill or be killed, what is it going to take for people like you and Dingle to get along with the East Coast?
Look, I don't know, man. I mean, these guys got their fucking talking dolls and shit.
Questions, Professor Pickles?
What? I ain't no Professor Pickles.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, don't mess with the East Coast. Look, I don't need you defending me, you howdy-doody looking motherfucker. I'm out of here, yo. Yeah, I'm with him. Man, step off.
Do you see me more as the respected dramatic actor or more of the beloved comic actor?
Whoa. There's still plenty of meat on that bone. Now, you take this home, throw it in a pot, add some broth, a potato. Baby, you got a stew going.
Let's get back to
Right, so these punks,
Yes.
I don't know if they wanted money or they wanted something more sexual. Wow. But it's a lucky thing I had my pieces.
Your pieces.
My guns.
Oh.
Anyway, I started blasting. Bang!
Wow.
Bang! Well, I don't see so good, so I missed. Then they ran away. I ran after them.
Okay.
Bang! Try to shoot them in the back. But I don't run so good either. Anyway, you guys all think I'm a hero, and I'll accept that responsibility.
All right, come out or I'll blast you out.
For shame, Doc. Hunting rabbits with an elephant gun.
Elephant gun?
That's right, Doc. So why don't you go shoot yourself an elephant? You do, and I'll give you such a pinch!
We're going to start our volleys. We hope you like the show. For everything is ready. We're raring to go. We'll give you all the latest songs and dances full of pep. We're gonna start with high jump. Just watch this chorus steps.
Originally settled as Ocean View during the 1850s, the city's population boomed with displaced
But in my own way, I am king. Hail to the king, baby.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us for Fantastic Comics Presents. We are the comic book show that talks about comic books. Go figure. Sometimes something happens within the industry, and we talk about it, but not in like I don't know. I don't think it's like super gratuitous or anything. We're not trying to shock anybody. And dang, there's a lot of stuff that's scrolling underneath me that's going to be going on in the show. For those of you that are new,
my name is Yul Carter, comic book retailer in Berkeley, California.
That's right. In Berkeley, California, I have a store. Used to live. And every Wednesday through Sunday, 12 to 5 p.m., we open up for selling comic books, and we get together here this Tuesday to talk about what's going to be going on next week, what you should be looking forward to, what people in my store are looking forward to, and maybe what you out there are looking forward to. So let me know in the comments down below what you are enjoying, what I got wrong, or what you really want to point out. I'm more than happy to take a look at those and maybe share them with you. Sometimes I actually get around to it, and today we're doing that. So tacos for everybody. On the Fantastic Comics Presents New Comics edition, Jolly Green Comics says, wish you'd do more than a top 5 best comics of the week. The more interesting ones would be the ones we can't guess ourselves. Well, now I would suggest if you're, I mean, yes, you're right. I mean, I don't necessarily have to showcase all that stuff, but I mean, I talk about Joe Casey comics, right? I just did a whole thing where we were talking about West Coast Avengers, JSA, more on that in a second. And, you know, so we are definitely talking about comic books, and, you know, getting to the next thing, have to talk about things that are coming out. So more than a top 5, it's gratuitous. And of course, we will be gratuitous today as far as the comics of last week are concerned. Oh, I can't read that. Cargith says, don't shy away from Peter David's many novels either. Also, HBO has micro wrestling too, which is fun. I did not know about the micro wrestling, and we're not going to have a wrestling minute segment because I don't want to talk about Linda McMahon. HBO, yeah, cool. Micro wrestling. I mean, you know, it's great for a novelty. If they can like tell stories that I might be interested in, but if it's just like ultimately like backyard stuff, I don't know if I've seen it before. And we did talk about his novels, although I'm not sure I mentioned every single one of them. I'm a big Peter David Star Trek comic book and novel. Way to go. And great show. Good to see Joe and Eric. I totally agree. Great to see them. Thank you very much. And How's Your Father says, always good to see Joe and Eric. I haven't paid attention to Wes's channel in a while, so I don't know if those two have done other comic retrospective with him lately. And I think the answer to that is no. They had been doing it over on Josh's channel for a hot minute, but things change. And those are not letters, just some comments that were recent. And why don't we get right into the best of last week? Because, there's a bunch of comics I'm going to be showing you. So let me turn this camera off and let's get to it. The best of last week. We got a lot of runner-ups. Runner-up, I sold out and had to get more. I read the first issue on a dare, and I enjoyed it enough to want to get them. So need to get it back in stock for everybody. Metamorpho, the Element Man, number 6, the last issue of the Al Ewing miniseries. I do believe it's the last issue. Peacemaker presents Vigilante Eagly double feature. I think people have figured out that it's coming out now, and I'm selling out because I cut the numbers hard, ordering more, got the first issue, come on in. It seems like it's pretty funny. Look at it, it's got Bubo on the cover. All right, Rogue Savage Land, the last issue of this 5-issue miniseries by Tim Seeley and cover artists. That was a sellout because, again, dwindling. But, this isn't something that would be on the top list because I don't order that many. Although it's doing better than most C-level books. And it's not necessarily that the book isn't an A-quality book. It's just, how important is this story that they're doing Rogue in the past? You know what I mean? All right. Coming up is Void Rivals, a book that's selling very well for me right now. People are getting on it, and people that, have got on it late are waiting for the trades. And I think there's one coming out also, or just did. Either way, Void Rivals coming out. Absolute Martian Manhunter, people are really liking it. It's one of my cigarette books. I just wasn't going to put it on the top 5 list this week because it's expected, right? Or is it? See, that's the thing. When I'm talking about my store and the books that are coming out, it's also what, they're buying, and I'm paying attention to it. And, I like the fact that there might be not a whole lot of discourse or positive discourse when it comes to the creators or Martian Manhunter, or maybe some of the off absolute books, and stuff like that. And so highlighting it is good, but this week I wasn't going to do that. Absolute Wonder Woman. Just about everybody in my store is enjoying this book more than all the other ones, even though the art in Absolute Batman's been really great. People have been pretty cool with the Superman stuff. I enjoy the Martian Manhunter, but I'm getting more people telling me how much they like Absolute Wonder Woman. And Jim of Weird Science Comics, he's pretty high on this book also. A book I'm ordering a hell of a lot of. It's a cigarette book, and it's just sitting right behind me so I can pull it down when somebody asks for it. I expect to get a lot of sales on this book. It's doing well for me, but I think as the second part of the story comes out is when I'm going to really see some success with these issues. We got Batman Hush number 160. This is the third part of that storyline, so we have 3 more to go before Fraction takes over with the new number 1. And then later on, we're going to have Jim Lee and Jeff Loeb finishing up the story, if I understand that correctly. G.I. Joe was a big sellout, so I didn't think I had adjusted my numbers so tightly. I just didn't want to have a whole bunch of extra books, but this was a big sellout. The trade of the first 6 issues comes out tomorrow, and I had to get more of them. So G.I. Joe number 7, it's more than meets the eye. Another a runner-up was Classic X-Men. I should have probably put this on the top 5 just to shock people, but the covers were really good. We had the main cover here, which was a takeoff of giant-sized X-Men, and then we have Art Adams drawn Classic X-Men take on his number 1 Classic X-Men comic book. That's a lot of words. All right, coming in at number 5 for best comics of last week, we've got We're Taking Everyone Down With Us, a near sellout. We have a bagged copy of number 3, and I'm not sure if it's not going to a second printing because I don't think it's available. I haven't checked yet, but I have a sneaking suspicion. And so we have 1 more issue of this left, and we only have 2 more issues of number 1 to sell out, so I can raffle off this book. More words on raffling later on. So number 4, Predator versus Spider-Man. All the Predator number 1 versus a Marvel character have done okay in the past, and Spider-Man did really well for me. And I was kind of shocked that I didn't have any left, and it had to go to a second printing for me to get more in, which I don't have yet. Number 2 comes out, and I have 1 copy left. So this is doing really well in comparison to other Predator Marvel crossover books. Shocking. Number 3 sees Uncanny X-Men number 15. This is the 3rd part of the Dark Artery storyline, and I sold out like almost immediately. I was shocked. More people are putting on their list and asking for it beforehand, so I have even less for the shelves. And Uncanny X-Men doing pretty good. Boy, I really wanted to put this at number 1, but I couldn't with the number 1 book that I picked. Superman number 26 was awesome. I still have some copies left. It sits behind me on the shelf, with all the other great sellers. But this one was excellent. I really enjoyed it. Good art. It had some other people working on it rather than Dan Mora. Dan Mora took a break on, like, I think the Justice League book he does also. So, yeah, Superman, number 2 book. And number 1 was a Daredevil Cold Day in Hell number 2. People have been, when's the next one coming out? When's the next one coming out? When's the next one coming out? And I have a habit of putting all the Daredevils behind a book. And I had the reprints of number 1, and then I had the new tag, and then I had a book that sold out, and everybody saw the number 1 behind it. And they're like, did number 2 sell out? And I'm like, no, but we can put you on the list. And holy cow, this is doing better than regular Daredevil. Too bad it's only 3 issues, but thankfully it's only 3 issues because it did take a minute for number 2 to come out. And those are the best comics of last week. Tell me if I'm wrong in the chat. Let me just do this. Oh man, I was doing so good deleting the pictures so I could bring up new ones. But you know how it is. Speaking of how it is, there's been a lot of conversation about tariffs and dolls and gas and movies and just all that junk, right? And it got me to thinking that, like, man, maybe comics, where like everybody was really griping about like the prices of comics, and I mean rightfully so. But when you're talking about griping about comics and you're complaining about the price, like, of those $7.99 books, it's like, just don't buy those books. Very rarely is it a book that you need to have that that you want to get that. It's kind of like for the, I don't know, what is it for, the fly-by-night consumer, just someone that isn't going to like really totally be around later on. Anyway, I want to put these pictures up. That's what I was just thinking about. Like, man, I guess $4.99 for a comic book, it does sound like a lot. And $3.99 sounds like a lot, and that's the cheaper ones. Even Tom McFarlane's like got more expensive books than what like he suffers for us. Too bad he doesn't suffer for making a good comic book. I'm just joking. But he's willing to lose money to like put his book out, and understands the value of putting that thing out there. And it's seen some very positive gains in the last years, I should say. But that's with a shit ton of Spawn books. You're not doing me any favors when you have like 7 Spawn books. But if this one guy or gal come in and buy Spawn, and they buy every single Spawn book, awesome. I had a lady, she comes by with a stroller every day. Sometimes I'm sitting outside. Sometimes I'm just inside. Sometimes I'm sweeping, but I see this woman and she rolls by with the stroller. And one day I had my door open before I was open, and she said, she asked about the store and asked about this Spawn comic book. And she's all, it's for my husband. He's asking me about this thing. But she didn't know exactly what it was. And I said, well, figure out what it is, come on back and I'll help you out. And then she immediately came back because she got on the horn with him, and he is all, it's about the girl. And the minute I heard it was about the girl, it was the story about Shirley Johnson. And I'm like, all right, I got it. And pulled it down for her, sold it before we opened. Gonna be a good day when you're making money before you open, it's a good luck situation. She didn't bat an eye. that was like a $4.99 book, $3.99 book, whatever the hell it was. She didn't care. She just $5.50. I have this guy, he comes in, he only gets the absolute books, right? $5.50 for an absolute book, unless he gets the variant cover, because I don't ever sell out before, but they're always $1 more. But $5.50, 2 of them comes out, $11, just like that. Taps it, doesn't get a bag, leaves, no receipt. Every time he comes in, like, let me get that thing for you. He has this scooter. You don't need to come in here with that. I'll go get that for you. It's not necessarily behind me, but those things, I'm not gonna run out without thinking about that guy every single time. $5.50, no big deal for one comic book. Like when you're buying 2 and it's like $11, you're like, all right, it's $11. Maybe you bought a third one and it was like 15 something. All right, that's fine. That's a lot. $15, man, would get me, back in the day, that's a week's worth of comics. It's not 3 comic books. But even when you get like the fat stacks, when you look at that fat stack, you're like, damn, that was a lot of comic books. Like, you bought a fat stack of comic books. It's not really that expensive because you can always go back to that. Of course, I'm totally partially I collect it, partially I say just get rid of it. Get it to the next person, give it to a kid. If it's okay, give it to someone in the neighborhood. Comics, we always traded them, I want to have a thing at the store where people come with like a small box of comics and we trade. What do you guys think about that? Let me know in the comments down below. Wouldn't that be cool though? You just go and you're like, damn, I have all these recent comics, and this guy's like, I got all these comics, and then this lady's like, I got all these comics, and you're like, man, you got Savage Sword of Conans, and I really want those. And you're like, well, I got these. I don't really want those as much. Well, what if I give you a few of them? All right. Yeah, I got rid of some comic books. Maybe I don't want so much more. How about you? No money, though. No money. We're not going to do no money. That ain't going to happen. We got to just trade on that one. You guys talk to each other afterwards. And you know what? I think this is a good time for me to do this. Let me see if I can find it. It's just a little bit here.
Hello. 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 Ow! Go! Look out! Hello.
Hello. Jolly 12 says, I don't think Marvel is better than DC right now. Okay. Marvel always sells better than DC. It's the end. Yeah, sure. DC can step up every once in a while. Have they stepped up really? I mean, Marvel was doing their ultimate thing, and people were really enjoying that. And then DC did their absolute thing, and now people are really enjoying that. We're going to have Marvel versus DC later on this year. That's pretty amazing. We've got all sorts of crazy talents coming back and working for companies that we didn't think we'd see. We'll see. We'll see. I think we got some books that are coming up, though, right now with Marvel. And they're just about as hot as I think a book can be. Erica Sullivan says, "Mwahaha first, boops for Gizmo." Gizmo, if you aren't familiar, is my dog. Come on into the store and help me pay for the surgery. No, not the surgery, the checkup that we had. Hey, that Marvel Knights new Black Panther book is terrible. You're crazy. It is not terrible at all. Yikes. But Red Hulk is the sleeper. A solid rec from me. Cheers. No way, man. This book, I mean, I haven't finished it. I mean, I only got through half of it. So I'm reading this also. And I'm about 3/4 of the way done with that. And I'm reading other stuff also. I think it's great. And to see Joe Quesada on a book, whatever. And just to see Black Panther, or at least, you know, the no, it's awesome. Love it. Love it. Elithilor says Marvel's books are not great right now. I think the only mainline book I actually enjoy month to month is Helverine, and I don't even know anything about Helverine. I think the fact that someone can say Helverine is good says that you should be reading a West Coast Avengers, Weapon X-Men, Uncanny X-Men, X-Men, as long as it's not a tie-in to something. Like, really? Avengers is good? There's nothing wrong with Avengers. I mean, I'm not even a big Avengers fan. Hulk is great. Hulk is great. Haven't read Thing yet, but I'm really thinking it's going to be great. Looking forward to reading that one. I'm looking forward to some of the other junk that's coming out. We got some Godzilla stuff. Godzilla's selling well for me, and I think people are enjoying it. So, you know. Hello, says Jilby Pill in the other room. Hello, hello, says Jagron N. Chat and you, chat and you, Mr. Yule, are doing good tonight. You know it. You know it. It's a Tuesday. Let me check up on that game. It's 4-3 Dodgers, so everything's going great right now. Kirsch is pitching. Soto hit a homer. Dwayne Muth, good evening, Yule, and the chat. Dwayne Muth also says Daredevil, cold day in hell. That's right. Bot says, good morning, guys. Well, thank you, Bot. Good morning to you. Where you botting from, Bot? That it would be good morning. My goodness gracious. It's not, I mean, not even like on the East Coast, right? Well, this show is moving along swimmingly. We've just said hello to everybody, and I think this is a great time for us to do this.
Good.
That's right. We are going to crack a CGC slab right here. And maybe you can tell just by how big this is. It isn't a comic book. And I didn't purchase this, but I have a customer / friend / rival that did. And he really wanted to buy some merchandise from Heritage that was on auction. And this was like the thing he was able to win. And it's signed. It's signed by, let's see, Jeff D. and David Zeb Cook. Let me know in the chat if you know what I might be talking about with those names. This is going to be a hard nut to crack, thing to crack. I'm not quite sure. I kind of felt around, but like this is a little bit more. It feels more secure than the comic book ones. And my buddy that let me do the unboxing for his toys didn't let me crack those. So we'll see how this goes. I'm really interested, but it's only a 5.5. So can I really fuck it up that much? But I do want to talk about slabbing comic books. It's not good. I mean, for the most part, I don't think it's really good. If it's falling apart, if you are selling online, I guess so. But every single thing that gets slabbed is just ridiculous in between runs of books. And it's not even the fact that it necessarily brings up the value of the book, but it inflates the price in a way that it makes it more valuable than it's worth, you know? I mean, there's nothing wrong with, look, if I only had one book to buy to complete my collection that I'm trying to get, and it was a $30 book, and I had to pay $100 for it, I wouldn't be happy, but I'd probably be able to do that and be okay with it because it's over. It's over. Everything's over. But a book shouldn't do that just because it's slabbed. Also, why are you getting it if it's slabbed? Well, because it has a grade attached to it, and I am trying to put together a very nice collection. But again, a 5.5, I mean, almost anybody can grade a 5.5. So I am against slabbing comic books and that type of stuff. Also, I've been so into talking to you guys, I forgot to crack this beer. All right. So look at that. This is a Dungeons and Dragons 5.5 A1 Slave Pits of the Undercity. This is advanced D&D. I'm going to try and express to you what my buddy felt and what he was trying to express to me, to why he was so angry enough to want to buy this book. And I think he is so not happy with the way the product is right now. It was always understood that when it was purchased by Hasbro, and probably even before that, Wizards of the Coast, Dungeons and Dragons was dead. It was never going to be the way it was. So anybody that thinks that is fooling themselves. I mean, I feel like I saw it when it went from advanced to second edition, and second edition started changing stuff. And my favorite characters were different or non-existent. So I have already seen that kind of stuff. But if you play those things, new people come along, this is their first thing, you're outdated. That the best thing about these games is you can always play the edition that you want to play. And some stupid people go and have them signed and slabbed, and you got to pay more money because it's up on Heritage. But we're going to crack this after I take a sip of this. But my buddy is so old man yelling at cloud. And of course he admits this. But he's like, these new editions, the new edition got rid of the half-elf. They got rid of the half-orc so that they could put an orc class in that you could play. That's ridiculous. They changed things, oh, this is allowed and this is allowed. And here's how you play the game for people that want to pay attention to this. There's always been things to pay attention to run games for y'all nutbags that are different than me, that kind of stuff. Everybody's weird, right? It's just some people don't know how to flub it. And then other people have to play, it needs to be written out for them. And in the minute it's written out for them, that's gospel. Every edition of Dungeons and Dragons is like that. And then one today is no different than any of the other ones before it. Some people only like to play it when it was the pamphlets and with the little miniatures. We hardly even played with miniatures, You don't need those. You use a stick or a die. Yeah, it's on the table anyway. So I kind of feel like Mike, I understand where he's coming from. I see it, but I don't have a problem with it. When I see people get upset about Spider-Man, I'm like, well, just don't read it. There's plenty of times when I haven't read a Spider-Man or I read a different Spider-Man. Tangled Webs of Spider-Man was one of the best Spider-Mans going at the time. Don't read the other ones. Read Spectacular Spider-Man. Don't read Amazing with J. Scott Campbell covers and John Romita Jr. artwork and JMS writing it. They're horrible. There's great elements about them and it says Amazing on it, but you don't have to. When I was a kid, I would drop off from one and go to the other. It didn't matter. If it had a storyline that I liked, that's where I was. I didn't like the way Frank Miller drew the Hulk, so I dropped Daredevil for a while. I got back on in time to see Elektra. I got back in time to see You Know What, and on and on and on. Good books. But it changes. It's different. Daredevil gets a costume change. Costume change. What a 90s thing to do, right? Now they're doing these things again. I got a cover to prove it. All right. The thing, though, is that Mike is really vindictive and doesn't want you noobs to get your hands on something like this. You don't deserve it. We've seen that in comic books where Amazing Fantasy 15, Fantasy 15, Spider-Man 1, Fantastic 1, 4-1, older and older books, and getting purchased by sleazebags within a conglomerate, right? And they're just like, it's part of their portfolio as this rare comic book, rather than this rare comic book I could never actually buy anyway, even before these knuckleheads get their hands on them. It's like when that Martin Shkreli started buying Black Lotuses. I mean, it's like, oh, all the people. You wouldn't allow someone to use that if they had it in their deck anyway. What good is a Black Lotus? Let that knucklehead have it, right? All right, so we're going to bust this out. I think, if you just don't like it, there will be something of it around later on. There have been good She-Hulk comic books. I know, it's hard to believe. Let's get you guys so you can see the book. Let me just, sorry if you get a little seasick with this. By the way, the art on the cover, like I said, is this guy named Jeff D. But the art on the inside is by everybody's favorite comic book writer / artist, Bill Willingham of Fables fame. Yeah, that's something, guys. Oh, wait. Maybe I can get it. Cover your ears. All right, I'm going to try this. Hold on a second. I told you this one might be like, oh man, I might not be able to do this one. Not in front of y'all. All right, let's see. It has little, man, this is better than normal CGC stuff. Oh, it's CBCS, that's why. I've had problems with them before. There we go. Yeah. There you go. I mean, really, CBCS is supposed to be the better grader. Anyway, for those of you people out there that have never been to a Starbucks, they had like a competition from former owners. If I get that right, it's they did Pete's Coffee. And people that didn't like Starbucks would always say Pete's is the better. A great color on that. Oh, matches my shirt somewhat. Anyway, Bill Willingham, he's the guy that did all the art for the advertisements of Dungeons and Dragons and the comic books from the greatest period of comicdom there ever was. And that's even with Al Milgrom in the scene. So remember that. Sometimes you got to put up with some Al Milgrom if you want some good stuff. You know what I mean? If you want a good Hulk, you might have to suffer with some Al Milgrom. So I am not going to obviously cut this out right now, but I told my buddy that I would do it for him. This is much closer to the edge than any of the comic books I have taken out So this should be interesting. But I mean, you know, you can look on the maybe I can get it for you. I'm not sure. Maybe you can see all that spine wear. There it is. I can see it. You can see it. See that? So this is a nice book though. And it's a classic, and it's signed by two of the people that, I mean, Dave Cook, man. He's been around working on Dungeons and Dragons crap for a hell of a long time. All right, let me go to chat. Jagron says, I read up. I will say I think the rose on Absolute Martian Manhunter bloomed, wilted. You say Marvel is dominating once again? Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I had a customer text me some comic books, 5 comic books that he wanted to have me pull. 2 were from Image. One was called Escape, and then the voice said Kill, which is possibly the best title of a comic book in a long time. Then he was totally down for The Black Cat by G. Willow Wilson with a bunch of meow covers. Venom, Black, White, and Blood, and Wolverine by Chris Claremont. So those are some things that are happening. We've got that X-Men Days of Future Past bit that they're going to be doing and whoring John Byrne's old artwork. Dwayne Moose says, I dropped Avengers after 300. Pick some in 370s and dropped it again until 400, 402. Fantastic Four, same thing. Simonson got me back in. Exactly. All right. But holy cow. Yeah, after 300, that's when they had Gilgamesh, if I'm not mistaken. It was a pretty weak Avengers team, if I'm not mistaken. And then the 370s. Who, Marvel in those days, was that when Tony Stark was young, if I'm not mistaken? And then, yeah, like around 400, 402 is that right around Bendis time? And then, of course, they New Avenger it, and Spider-Man's on the team, and everything's different, everybody. Like, I remember the comments that Bendis said in Wizard. Think about this if it was on Twitter. Let's say you're really upset and you're talking about your Avengers, and you're like, this isn't the event. I want the Avengers with Gilgamesh, right? Some idiot saying, I want the Gilgamesh Avengers. I want Tom Palmer inking everybody to look like Tom Palmer inking everybody. You know, you're just tweeting that, right? Or Xing it, whatever. And then Bendis comes in and says, if you want to read those Avengers, read your back issues. This is New Avengers, bitch. He wouldn't have said bitch, but you know, maybe he was Matthew Rosenberg. He wouldn't say that either. Anyhow, Jilby Pill says, cut it using a ruler as a guide. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. We're going to use a very, very thin blade on that one. Hi, guys. Jolly 12. Hello. Dwayne Muth. Tom Palmer inked the book for years 1984 to 1996. That's what I'm saying, baby. And I mean, John Buscema was the artist on most of those issues, but I'm sure Al Milgrom was there. Holy cow. Oh, Steve Epting also. And that was when I did not. It's funny, you can look at Steve Epting's artwork back in those Avengers days. Oh man, I have this picture in the room, in the other room, in the bedroom. And it's an Avengers. Oh my god. It's one of the worst things I have, but it's one of the best things I have. I'm gonna have to like post it on the YouTube. I'm gonna definitely post a post on YouTube under, you know, posts or whatever they call it. So make sure you follow us, subscribe, all that other stuff. Here, let Let me do that one. Subscribe. Did I do that? Okay, great. Back to comments. Oh yeah, Tom Palmer. Yeah, man, that dude, Steve Epting. But when he started doing, when I found out that Ed Brubaker was doing Captain America, I was super stoked. You know, Ed Brubaker coming over and doing some Marvel stuff. This is going to be great. And he got Steve Epting was the artist. I think he was the #1 art guy. And I was very disappointed because I was going back to all those Avengers books that Tom Palmer inked. And it's like, I kind of think it's Tom Palmer. And I know it's like sacrilege to talk shit about Tom Palmer, but Neil Adams didn't look so good on X-Men when Tom Palmer inked him. I'm sorry. I know even Neil Adams says that he looks best at that time or something like that, but not for me. Tom Palmer, Avengers, it's just like Tom Palmer. I mean, damn, Tom, cool it. Steve was always he evolves. Okay, very good. I mean his look still looks like those Avengers days, but better. And I mean, I know there's a lot of the photo stuff that goes on with the art these days, but in some ways it always was there anyway. Lightbox it. All right, let's do this.
Why, we sell a dozen a day in this price range.
Who buys them? Tax collectors?
Even if I had to pay, it would be worth it. Just for the occasion.
What, something big going on somewhere?
What's going on right here? It's a big night.
Well, it's just an old run-of-the-mill Wednesday. Well, the calendar's full of them.
That's right. The calendar is indeed full of them, and this is yet another one. But I've already shown you 2. Don't listen to Eric. You don't pass up on a Christopher Priest Wakanda book. You don't pass up on Joe Quesada doing anything. And this freaking book, it's laying seeds. I can already tell. I like what I'm seeing. I don't love the bouncing around past, but if you've read Christopher Priest books in the past, then you will know why I'm excited in the way he's telling the story the way he is. I will give him more leeway than I will other people. But having said that, I thought it was an excellent read. I don't know why Eric doesn't like that. It befuddles me. All right, first up, I'm going to do this for symmetry. Immortal Thor #24. Even an Immortal Can Die storyline. Al Ewing is the writer, and I don't know who the Bauza Oldua is on the art, but I'm not reading it. I sell it very well. It's behind me, and I just can't get into Al Ewing. Although I like Metamorpho #1. Daredevil #22. Look at Daredevil laying into that mushroom. I don't think I love the action in Daredevil, but I love the clay faceness of the strike. You know what I mean? I still think it's not my favorite thing that I see John Romita Jr. do. I'm not a big Daredevil guy anyway. It wouldn't keep me from buying a book, but maybe the black suit would. This book sells well, though. Amazing Spider-Man #5, the conclusion to the opening story arc by Joe Kelly and Pepe Larraz. And whoo, baby, this one I've already read. I finished it. I want to go to infinity before I read this. I am digging this story. I'm digging this Spider-Man. I mean, I think the 8 deaths of Spidey wasn't as everything as people are making it out to be, and in fact, I think it's kind of solid. It's one of those that you're going to go back to, or better than that, when people come in and ask me for a Spider-Man story, they're gonna, you're gonna be able to show them this, and you're gonna say this is going to be an exploration in who Peter Parker / Spider-Man is as a person. And this one we have there's a little bit of a weirdness to the story, but overall I think it was the I think Jim at Weird Science said something about the how many sodas would the rhino have had to drink to get like really messed up? But Spidey's really messed up just buying some. Well, he's got a little bit more pure venom coursing through his body. Anyway, this has been really good. I've got the issues. Come on in. This comes out, and I liked it. It was good. Ultimate Spider-Man Incursion #1. I've paged through this, and I would suggest anybody that gets any Ultimate book is going to want to get this book. I don't think I need to say any. Enough said. X-Men #17. I hear there's a bit of a variation from comic to comic, depending on which one you pick up. Probably it's some inker issue or something. This is the aforementioned Jed MacKay X-Men that I said was good. Ryan Stegman's still on art. And look at that. It's not crossing over with anything. So bye. Absolute Green Lantern #3 is coming out. Probably, if I had to put something on the low end of the Absolute Green poll, Absolute poll, it would be this Green Lantern book. And then right above it would be Flash, though more people are willing to give Flash more credence and leeway because of Jeff Lemire writing it. Whereas here we have Al Ewing, and you know how I feel about him. Absolute Superman #8 comes out. I think this is a brand. Oh, look at it. It says it right there on the cover. A new story arc right here. Jason Aaron writes. I'm sure there's another artist working on it right now, but if not, it's Rafa Sandoval. So yay. Ultimate Wolverine #6. One of the books that actually displaced one of the cigarette books. Alex Linz is on art for this issue. He was on the art for the last issue. And I think that dude is a #1 shooting star artist of all superhero artists that you don't know about. If you aren't checking him out, you should pick this one up. Pick the last issue up and also go check. I didn't see, this is off the top of my head. Go check out whichever Guardians of the Galaxy of the last volume that came out was that he did. It was a Groot story, and it's really trippy and really great artwork, and I highly recommend checking it out. Yeah, delete it. I said it. All right, so these are Diamond comics, so who knows if I'm actually going to get them. Space Ghost Annual #1. Captain Planet #2. And Thundercats #16. Let's hope. But, every time I have to buy something from Diamond, it's like, it costs me money. I guess they all cost me money, but ugh. All right, what's this? Doctor Strange of Asgard. People are really liking this in my store. Maybe this is the one is it Derek Landy? Is that his name? Maybe the one Derek Landy book that people are actually enjoying. But yeah, I have a lot of Doctor Strange knuckleheads that come into the store. So maybe that's the reason. I want to skip that next book because I want to really go off on it. We've got Solomon Kane #3. Anybody know why this is significant? I mean, other than it's coming out tomorrow. It's all right. I'm going to tell you. This is the first Solomon Kane that Lunar is distributing. Titan went with Lunar, even though Penguin Random House has Titan books that they distribute. But that's fine. Lunar has Image. They have Titan. They have DC. They have Oni. Diamond has Oni. Did I say that? Diamond has Oni. Lunar has a couple other companies. Floating World goes through them. Fantagraphics goes through them. Not exclusively, but those are a bunch of books that go through Diamond or go through Lunar now. It's funny because like everybody was happy about the monopoly ending, But of course, the monopoly ending just meant that each comic company publisher hunkered down with like a certain entity. It's just like it was back in the old days, back in the Marvel Heroes distributing day. Oh, that's not right time. Whoops. Imperial's coming out, everybody. Buy this book. There's a bunch of them. Jonathan Hickman's writing it. The art's beautiful. And it's involving, all right, Hulk's in it. The whole Wakandan space bit is in it. She-Hulk's in it. I know it's got Amadeus Cho and Star-Lord. But man, the scenes with Star-Lord are better than any scene with Star-Lord I've ever read. It's not a lot because I really don't care about the character, even if John Byrne's drawing it. Amadeus Cho, same thing. I mean, I've read a lot of I have read a lot of Amadeus Cho, and I'm not really a big fan. But man, the reason why they're all together and what's going on in this book, oh man, it's like a mystery. Jonathan Hickman's doing a mystery. I love it. And we've got variant covers galore. And I mean, you know, it's a 4-issue miniseries. Probably there's going to be a delay somewhere in there. It's going to cost more than any other book, $6.99. But you're going to want to read this book. And when number 2 comes out, you're going to want to read number 1 and then read number 2. And then when number 3 comes out, you're going to want to read number 1 and number 2 and number 3. It's like you're getting way more value for your dollar for this $7 than you did that candy bar. And it's just making you fat. And they cost a lot too. Look at that great cover. Connects. Look at that great cover. It's awesome. Look at that great cover. Ah, Deathbird, the only great Hawkeye story that wasn't Pizza Dog, was with Deathbird. Tell me the issue number, everybody. And lastly, if you buy this comic at my store, you are automatically entered into the 1 in 50 variant, Jim Lee variant of Imperial. So you definitely want to get in on that. Although I do have a customer that really, really wants it. So if you're willing to trade it in instead, I will give you a $50 credit. Oh, why do I lose money on things? But you see, I'm not going to backtrack on that. You can hold me to it, and we'll talk about it later. So sell me out. That's what you got to do. Sell me out of Imperial. But I know my customers will, because they love a Jonathan Hickman book. And I went crazy on ordering this as far as my small little store is concerned. If after the second week I still have more, and any of you out there customers want to get in on this, maybe we can do that too. All right. Coming up next, we have the last issue of The Moon is Following Us by Daniel Warren Johnson and Riley Rossmo, and some guy named Mike Spicer. I think he's the letterer. I read the first 2 issues and thought it was really good, and it's going to be a really great collection, like all of the Image books that Daniel Warren Johnson does, like all of the books that anything he writes is just really pretty much gold. He tells such a really fantastic, special, sometimes superhero, but definitely, fantastical story. Just really, really great stuff, and you should check him out. All of his stuff is great. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles X Naruto number 4. Hey man, if you like Naruto, I mean, this sells well at my store. I don't really need to say much more than that. Eric O'Sullivan's favorite book, Red Hulk, by Benjamin Piercy and Jeff Shaw. Yeah, I'm doing very well on this book, actually, and I'm looking forward to reading it, but I have not read it yet. There you go. Laura Kinney, Wolverine, not a top seller in my store at all, but you know my rule. Always pay attention to the 7th issue. No, seriously though, these two cuties getting together again finally after all the stuff that they went through. This is a great cover. You got to get this book. JSA number 8. You know how I feel about JSA if you watched last episode. What a great Michael Cho cover. And look at that Wotan. I mean, that's when you think JSA, old JSA, that's exactly what I think. And of course, Michael Cho does a great job on that. Storm number 9 with a bunch of covers. Storm is selling well for me. I'm not reading it at all. Lucas Wernick is on art, and he was like one of the last X-Men illustrators on the last series. So yeah, it's like I said, it's doing well for me. It looks good. I just don't read it. Oh, we already did Solomon Kane, didn't we? All right. Hold on a sec. What's this? DC Pride 2025. Don't not go into your store and pick it up. Don't watch the video talking shit about it. It's just so fucking stupid. I mean, seriously. If you aren't down to clown, then why are you? You know? It's like, yes, it's marketed to certain individuals that aren't you. So what? I know those people are being marketed to other days of the week too. I understand. I get really upset when I'm watching English Peacock streaming and I get fucking Spanish commercials. I mean, seriously, what the hell's up with that? I don't understand what they're saying. And I mean, I don't go to Spanish stations hoping for English commercials. But whatever. JMS versus the Marvel Universe. Galactus versus Ghost Rider. I can read it. Ghost Rider versus Galactus. These JMS books have been doing really well for me, so I shouldn't even be making fun of it. And I'm saying I'm making fun of it because I couldn't read it. So yeah, pick this one up. G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero. I've upped my numbers and it sold out the last time. So holy shit, what has happened that people are even reading G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero? It boggles the imagination that this could even be a thing that happens these days. Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong V2. Buccellato, Brian Buccellato. I'm glad he's getting this paycheck, and whoever Duce is the artist. And we got 2 more books. We've got Marvel Knights, The World to Come by Joe Quesada, Christopher Priest, and Richard Isanove. Man, this book looks so freaking good. And even though I don't like the 3 weeks earlier bit, I didn't order this as heavy as I did Imperial. But man, you don't see Joe Quesada draw a book hardly ever. And this is stylized and cool, and it feels like a Christopher Priest book. And I am down 105%. Plus, there's other covers. Look at that pretty cool Alex Maleev cover. Everybody loves that, right? Ugh, unearned runs. And then look at the Storm cover. All gets explained. Just so wonderful. Love it. And lastly, when I had Joe Casey on this show, no, maybe it was on the audio one that I did for Patreon. I said that this was my favorite single Superman issue ever. And I want you to go and think about all your your favorite Superman issues out there. And I'm sure, there's like, when somebody was introduced, or with the first time Lex Luthor lost his hair from Superboy, that was pretty fun stuff. You got the marriage, you've got, the Michael Turner stuff. You got John Byrne reintroducing the character in Man of Steel and the issues that followed. The time he used kryptonite to kill Zod in like issue 27 or whatever it was. The Triangle era. When he was exiled in space with a beard, and he had to wear a mask because he couldn't breathe in space for long. My favorite Superman book of all time is Joe Kelly's Action Comics number 775. I saw there was a YouTube podcast talking about Superman, and they're talking about the Joe Kelly run. Oh, no, they were interviewing him. Maybe it was just that's what it was. It was a podcast interviewing Joe Kelly that specifically talked about his Action Comics run. No links in the comments down below because I haven't listened to it. This has Lee Bermejo artwork and Doug Mahnke artwork. Doug Mahnke for the most part, and Joe Kelly writing one of the best stories. I was already high on Joe Kelly writing before this. I liked steampunk. I liked, actually, it might have been around the same time now that I think about it. Nonetheless, I was really getting into his Action Comics. And when 775 came out, it was like, I don't know, it was like, I kind of knew that I wanted to be the person to write Action Comics 1000. I was pretty messed up at the time. And I knew that the only way to really get that job would be like really be famous, somebody important. So that wasn't going to happen. And then they gave that job to Dan Jurgens. Crazy. Maybe you like when Superman was a robot. Maybe Steel, all that stuff. But for me, what's so funny about Truth, Justice, and the American Way is the number one Superman story you can possibly read. And this is getting a facsimile edition, and that is coming out tomorrow. And it represents unless we're talking about the dollar reprints, it represents the largest number of facsimile that I was ever willing to order, because I want to get this in the hands of everybody, because it is such a damn good story that even at the slightly increased price than what it was back in the day, I think $3.99, it's super worth it. Super worth it. So Action Comics number 775, all-time greatest Superman story. Not Superman Muhammad Ali. Not Superman versus Spider-Man. You'd think I would care. Priest and Joe Jusko T'Challa. Christopher Priest writing Black Panther of any type is all the way I felt like I was in on something when I was reading his Black Panther, and it was just so fantastic. Listen to this, Elithid Lore. Hickman's cosmic stories are rubbish. Don't you worry about that. Imperium's here. I got plastic. It's too good. You got to get it. Star-Lord's cool in this. I had no idea about what happened. That's the other thing, man. He uses things from other places so that even if you aren't in on it or understand what he gets you up to speed. I like a Hickman story, man. Jesus, oh, stop. It is hideous. You're right. They just zoomed. I think it's a card. I like it when you make fun of it. What was I making fun of? I was content never hearing Joe Quesada's name again. Well, as long as he's not involved in editorial. 2011, Reign of Doomsday. That was cool. That was Kenneth Rocafort on art, if I'm not mistaken. That's when we opened as a store, by the way. Zero Coolest. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Unless we're talking about the New 52 Doomsday one. I'm not as big a fan. All right, let's see. Let's do this. I kind of forgot. I lost the plot last episode. It's not, I mean, it is almost the end of this show. I'm going to actually put a banner up letting you know about my favorite things that are going on right now. Either on YouTube, whether it's comic book related or not. It might not be. There's a song, there's an album, there's music, there's D&D, there's Thinking Critical, Erica Sullivan. Erica Sullivan and Thinking Critical aren't quite the same as they were because there was this whole Dallas convention and I wasn't able to go to. It's hard running a store that needs to put comics out every week and receive orders and shit like that. Look at that. There's comic books. Always Ween. Always Ween. It's from now on, it's just always going to say Always Ween. But there's a few other people out there that I'm really keen on, and I don't think I really gave them the proper due. So if you're out there, this is how you want to be noticed. You don't want to be like this guy.
You know, my last name is Costanza. That's Italian. So you and I are kind of like countrymen. Huh? Paisanos!
650 you change.
Ah, yes. And I always take care of my paisanos. So here's a little something.
Antonio!
Si!
Vieni qua! Questa miserabile patron...
That's right. We have a Patreon page. Thank you very much. I don't give you a whole lot, but I'm going to give you some recognition right now. And not just like... not haphazardly like I did last week, and I'm sorry about that. Forgive me. Whether you're watching or not, I really appreciate it. I know you come on in to buy something, and a lot of you don't come in and buy anything anymore. So this is really special and awesome, and thank you very much. And then there's the other people that do, and you're even better. No, not really. But I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Damn, I think I sped through this. Let me look. I'm not going to put it up, but maybe I didn't prove my point that Marvel was better. Just I wanted to make a little bit of a ripple. I think they're gonna. I mean, they always dominate when it comes to the money aspect. I think more of the excitement still comes from Marvel, even though Ghost Machine's steady, but it's never going to reach a Marvel. Like if every Ghost Machine book sold like Thor right now, Thor is like middle of the top. That would be really, really sweet. That would be Geiger. That would be Rockefellers. That would be Rook if it came out. It would be Redcoat. It would be Hyde Street. That's 5. 5's enough. 5 doing those numbers. Whew. Replacing Thor on the cigarette wall. All of the Ghost Machine. It's crazy. What are they, Ultimates? No, they're not. Only Saga goes back there. And maybe... we'll see. If I up my numbers on We're Taking Everyone Down With Us, if I up my numbers on a mini-series, that's pretty crazy. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah. Thank you very much for joining us this week. I really appreciate it. Let me know in the chat what you liked, what you didn't like, what I can mention on a show in the future, and all of that stuff. And until next week, bye.
Lucy and Ramona cruising through the jungles of L.A. Hoping to promote a dream somewhere along the way. They're rolling through the streets, looking for a disco, passing up the treats from a kid named Cisco, trying to make connections with their blemish food complexions, and just as fate would have it, ended up with Sunset Sam. Sam was selling watches from a suitcase on a TV tray. And Lucy and Ramona kept trying to figure out if he was gay. The three of them were standing, staring at each other, when the light behind their eyes blew each other's cover. The ancient code was branded, and each of them was handed a ticket to their kingdom, 'cause they saw their brother Sunset Sam. Sunset Sam. Lucy was from Compton, and she met Ramona at the zoo. Ramona was from Brooklyn. She left when she was 22. Sam was a native of the Arizona desert, but he split when he was slated for some governmental make-work. Their differences subsided when the common bond was sighted. They were all from the same place that made the famous Sunset Sam.